Welcome back to our series with TK from the Talking League podcast, where he gives us his advice about picking our starting fantasy lineups.
Probably if you don't mind bringing up the hammer, please, Paul.
Yeah.
And he's probably someone that we do need to have a look at, and we'll probably explain about the pack as well. All right, so we're probably a good position now to explain just the ownership and going with the pack a little bit there, Paul.
Okay.
Now 38%.
Yeah.
That suggests that a lot of teams want him.
Yeah.
And you can see why, right? 372k.
Yeah.
Previous, he looks like he's going to be starting at fullback, where he's got some sample size there. He's played Origin before, and then you get the centre, wing fullback dual, which we're kind of not going too heavy in. So he might not be a bad option, especially if we got some money at the end of this, we might come back and touch on him. But that's kind of one of the rules. Like, my starts over the last 2 years have been really poor because, especially when you're helping a lot of people, you're sometimes trying to search for too many pods from round one.
Yes.
Instead of just going with the pack on some of this.
Yeah.
So just go back to Brandon Smith and we'll talk about what that percentage owner is. So at a percentage owner of 47%, it's not really worth messing with the pack on that one.
Yes.
Especially when he's, again, got a dual position. Like, realistically, if you anti-pod him and get it wrong, you're going to be chasing your tail forever.
It's just as bad as picking a pod that goes wrong. In fact, could be worse, not picking a guy that everyone else is.
Absolutely.
And they go well.
If he averages 50 and he gets 10 points of value and you're trying to chase your tail and you don't know who to, because he's at that awkward price of 585, who are you going to withdraw out?
Oh,
so it's going to be an absolute nightmare, guys. So just be careful on that. Don't go too far against the pack, especially if the pack's indicating 47%. I think anything about 40% would probably be something that you probably should be going with. Yeah.
Great advice. All right, so we've got a hammer comes in. Was it the wing fullback we had?
Yeah, we wanted Tamari Martin as well as our 18th man. Perfect. And we can move them in and out as well, guys. So these little dots on the side, you can always hit them, and that brings up different options to move them down, substitute, or delete them as well. All right, Paul, I think we've got to go back to the second rowers here because there's a couple of names I think that everyone needs. The first guy is Jermaine Hopgood. He's moved over from Penrith, stellar average in reserve grade. So he's got a 60 average in reserve grade.
Yeah.
And now with Ryan Madison sitting on the sideline, I think he's going to be up for a good 50, 55-minute role. And the beauty with him, he starts at lock in round one. He'll get that dual, which is also great. Parramatta have a really late bye.
Yes.
So he's going to be really valuable, I think, this year.
And do you think with the Eels, with the round 27 final bye, like you're pretty much, it's equivalent of them only having 2 buys for a lot of what you have to worry about because you probably run out of trades by the 27. So
That's
any Eels player you've got through the year, you're thinking, oh, we've got a bonus.
Conserve your trades, guys.
Game.
He's just said it. Like, conserve your trades. All right, we've got to go back to the Penrith Panthers, I think, and have a look at Luke Garner because at the moment, because he played in a bottom team that came with wooden spoon, he was filling in between centre and second row, a little bit of bench last year, had some injury problems as well. But in the past, we've seen him. You know, he's got a great, his average is actually in the mid-40s when he's actually starting on an edge.
Well, I was going to say, surely we can expect at least sort of 40 odd from him.
And as you can see, so we've got Liero, Katoa, Hopgood and Garner, who all kind of fit in this mid-400s range, right?
Still got a bit of cash. You don't have to get 3 cheapies. You can move what you wanted Martin to 18th man there now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've still got somewhere to go. Now, do you go to cheapies and give you nearly 500, or are you keeping with this strategy of let's just pick these players that we're eyeing off?
Yeah, great question. I think we've got to look at, let's go Tyrell Sloan because I know he's going to be a very high owner. So Tyrell Sloan, you know, unfortunately, Cody Ramsey's been ruled out for the season, which gives him front running with issues with Talatau Amone and then injury to Jack Bird. Probably means that Moses Ambai will be playing in the halves to start the season, which pretty much means that he's got no competition for his role. So,
and a player with a ton of ability.
Oh, does he what?
If he gets the opportunity, he could really turn that into big fantasy points.
Yeah, mini David Peachy from back in the day.
Oh, yes.
And we saw what he did back end of 2021.
Yeah.
Didn't have his best year last year, didn't get along with the coach, does now, has his opportunity back in the team. Perfect wing fullback, 250k. And I think during the year he'll be good enough to actually play.
And you're not worried, obviously, the round one bye?
It's a great question. I think it's the punt that we do need to take because we just don't want to smash trades out.
Yes.
But Charity Shield's going to be a big game.
We will be back with TK from the Talking League podcast to continue our series on picking your fantasy team for 2023.